Hey, what is up, awesome people? ShadyWags here, and I'm going to be doing a very basic guide on how to get started playing Stellaris. Now, when I first was introduced to Stellaris, I thought, this just does not look like a game for me. It looked very complicated and honestly not very interesting at all. Now, fortunately, I had a friend who nudged me into playing, and he took the time to explain the basics to me. And once I knew the basics, I quickly became obsessed with this game, and it's provided me with hundreds and hundreds of hours of enjoyment. The thing I've enjoyed most about Stellaris is the strategy. In many RTS games, they're just about collecting resources as fast as possible and building up the biggest army. In Stellaris, you don't have to have the biggest army. It does help, but there are many different ways to play and win the game. So I want to take the time to create a guide that is easy to follow and understand with the hopes that this will introduce new players to the game. The first thing we're going to do is start a new game and select an empire. For a new player, I would suggest beginning with the United Nations of Earth. I'm going to go into greater detail about the different types of governments and how they affect the game in another guide. But the United Nations of Earth is a xenophile empire, meaning they have an increased opinion of other species. They want to reach out and contact other aliens, live and work with other alien species, so this makes it somewhat easier for a beginner to deal with the diplomatic aspects of the game. From the Empire Select screen, you're also going to get detail of the type of planet the race prefers, their starting weapon types, travel type, and the race advantages and disadvantages. Go ahead and click on the select button, and this will take you to a menu to set up the map options. If you're a beginner, I would recommend selecting a small galaxy size of 400 stars, change the advanced AI starting to 0, change fallen empires to 0, turn crisis strength to off, and turn advanced neighbors to off. After I make all those changes, I'll go ahead and hit the begin button. The game is going to begin in paused mode. To unpause the game, you can hit the space bar, or you can click up here in the top right hand corner. From this top menu, you can also speed up time and slow down time. I'm going to keep the game in pause mode for now, and we're going to go over the different menus. The first thing we're going to look at here on the right-hand side is the outliner. The outliner gives you a quick overview of what is going on in your empire. It will also allow you to quickly select and move to different items. The top entry is planets, and this will display all the planets you are currently inhabiting. Right now we have one planet, Earth. As we inhabit more planets, they will populate into this list. If we click on the Earth entry, it's going to pull up a screen that gives us an overview of the planet. From this screen, we can see what type of world it is, we can see the habitability, and also what resources are available on this planet. In the middle, we can see the current population on the planet, how many tiles are available on this planet, the current unrest, and the food surplus on the planet. And on the right side, we can see the resources that are currently being outputted. And right here, this is the current governor of the planet and what bonuses that governor is providing. We will go ahead and click on the next tab at the bottom. That is the surface. And you can see right now we have 8 people working on the surface of the planet. More people will automatically move in and populate the empty tiles over time. It's our job to move these people around, build facilities so they can collect more resources that will help our empire grow. We'll come back to the screen very shortly. The next tab is armies. From this menu, this is where you create defensive armies that will attempt to protect the planet from invasion. And you also build attack armies here that will actually board a ship, leave the planet, and attempt to invade other planets. In the last tab, we have the spaceport. This is where we build different types of spacecraft. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close that menu and go back over to the outliner. Next up is military fleets. This will display any type of military ships that we have control of right now. Left clicking will highlight the fleet. It will also pull up info about the fleet on the bottom left hand corner. Double click will pull the camera to the location of that fleet, and by using the mouse scroll you can zoom in and out on the fleet. And next up on the outliner, we have a listing of our civilian ships. The science ship and the construction ship, these follow the same principles as the military ships. And as our empire grows, more and more things are going to happen, and they will be added to this outliner. So this outliner is going to be growing over time. Now that is a very quick overview of what is important right now. We are still paused. We have not officially started the game. I'm going to keep the game paused as I go through everything I do when I start a game up. The first thing is select research. We have 3 boxes up here at the top. These are notifying us that we currently are not researching anything, and it's prompting us that we need to select research items. To select research, click on the top technology button. That's the one with the 3 beakers. From this menu, you can see we have 3 scientists. It displays what type of research they're performing: physics, society, or engineering, their name, any special traits they have, and the level of speed at which they are researching. Also, it shows their skill level. And as they research more, their skill level will go up and they will begin researching at a faster speed. So I will select 3 different things for them to begin researching. Once those are selected, this will now display the amount of time it's going to take them to complete that research. Once they complete the research, the building or the ship or the perk that they were researching will become available to our Empire, and then we can assign them another research item. So let's go ahead and unpause to start the game, and you can see that bar start to move and research has began. Now the next thing I do is I go to the outliner and I'm going to select my science ship. I'm going to move to the center of my home system. I will right click and select Survey System. This will send the scientist off to survey each planet in the system. And if we look at the ship info screen down in the left hand corner, that displays the scientist's name, his current skill level, and as he continues surveying more and more items, that level will increase. It also displays what he is currently doing along with his progress and the amount of additional items he needs to survey before he is complete. Next thing I do is I create another science ship. From the outliner, I'm going to select Earth, and then I'll go to the Spaceport tab and left-click on the science ship entry. The ship will go into the building queue, and you can see its progress from here. You can also see the progress in the outliner. Once the ship is complete, it will populate the outliner. I'm going to select the new science ship. It doesn't have a scientist assigned to the ship yet, so I click on the Assign Leader, and this pulls up the leader screen. This will display all the leaders currently in our Empire and what they are currently doing. Right now, we do not have anyone available to pilot this new science ship, so we'll go ahead and recruit a new scientist by clicking on the recruit button. This will give us a choice of scientists who are currently available to recruit. It displays their name, their age, skill level, traits they have, and the cost to recruit them. I'm going to go ahead and select this person right here, and that will add them to our list of scientists. And it shows them that they are available, so I'm going to go ahead and click on them, and they will be assigned to the new science ship. Okay, now if we hit M on our keyboard, or if we hit the galaxy map icon down here, it will pull up a map of the entire galaxy. I'm going to go ahead and scroll out here, and you'll see all these little dots are unexplored star systems that our scientists need to survey. So I still have my new science ship selected. I'm going to right click on one of these unexplored systems and select Survey System. The science ship will move to that system and begin surveying. Now, why do you want to survey all these systems? As these ships begin surveying, they will encounter anomalies, and an anomaly is a strange or interesting item that the scientist discovers while surveying different planets. These anomalies can lead to larger quests. You can discover new ships. You can pick up new perks for your empire. There's a whole host of things that can happen by researching anomalies. When the scientist finds one, it's going to notify you and you will be presented with an anomaly menu. The most important thing on this menu is the failure risk. If it's more than 20%, I would either change the scientist to someone whose risk is lower or leave it for now. If it's 20% or under, I would go ahead and research it. It's also worth noting any new quest that the scientist discovers will be added to the situation log, and that log is right up here. The other reasons you want to survey is your scientist is going to discover new planets that you can possibly inhabit, and they're going to discover resources. There are 8 different types of resources in Stellaris, energy, minerals, food, influence, unity, and then there's physics, society, and engineering research. As your ships explore the galaxy, they're going to uncover stars and planets that you will be able to build mining stations on to collect energy and minerals, and research stations to collect research resources. In order to collect those items from those planets and stars, they must first be in our borders. As the game continues, this border will expand through planet population growth and by researching technologies that provide expanded borders. Also by inhabiting new planets and by building frontier outposts. So these minerals right here, those are in our borders. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that system to open it up, and I'll locate the planet that has the minerals on it. Now from the outliner, I'm going to select my construction ship. I'm going to right click on the planet and select build mining station. This will show the cost to initially build the station and the monthly cost to maintain it. So this is going to cost initially 90 minerals to build and 1 energy credit a month to maintain. The construction ship will make its way to the planet and then begin building the station, and we can see its progress here in the outliner.
Construction complete.
Now, if we discover resources outside of our border that we want to collect, what we can do is have our construction ship build a frontier outpost. I'm going to double click on the system outside our borders here, select the construction ship from the outliner. Now I'm going to right click on the sun or the planet in the middle of the system, right click and select build frontier outpost. This will display the cost of the frontier outpost. So to build this outpost, it's going to cost both minerals and influence. Influence is the one resource we cannot mine or build a building to produce. You get a base of 2 per month. This can be increased through research and also by pleasing factions, and we'll get into that more shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and select build frontier outpost, and the construction ship will move that planet and begin building.
Construction complete.
Once that outpost is built, I'll click out to the galaxy view, and you can see that has extended our borders, and now we're free to build mining and research stations within these new expanded borders. Now the next way to gather materials is from the surface of our planets. From the outliner, I'm going to select Earth and go to the Surface tab. On each one of the tiles of the planet's surface, we can collect resources. The resources that are currently available to collect on the tile is shown underneath. So on this tile right here, we're able to collect 2 minerals. So I'm going to take this guy right here, drag him to the tile, and he will begin collecting those minerals. And you'll see the number on the top bar change. To increase the amount of minerals collected, I'm going to highlight the tile, click on the build button, and then select Mining Network 1. There's a bar right here that will show the progress of the building construction, and it's also tracked over here in the outliner. Once the building is complete, the tile will now start collecting for minerals, but that does take energy to run that building, and you can see the amount of energy credits we're accumulating has actually went down. So we need to start collecting more energy. This girl right here, she is faded out, which means she is still moving into that tile. She is still growing, which is shown by the blue bar underneath her. When she is completely grown, we want her to begin collecting that energy. So I'll drag her onto this tile right here. I'll highlight the tile, hit the build button, and select Power Plant 1. You don't have to wait for one item to finish before you start the next. They will be placed into a queue. So we also need more food. This tile right up here has food on it, but it has a yellow and black border, meaning it's blocked out, and that tile needs to be cleared. I'll highlight the tile, and I'll click the clear button, and it's put into the queue as well. Tiles that are outlined in black and yellow, you are able to clear right now. If they are in red and black, you won't be able to clear those until you research that technology. Once the power plant is finished, then that tile will begin clearing. And once that girl is completely grown, a new person will begin moving into another tile. So now on the food tile, I'm going to highlight that, click on build, and I'll select Hydroponics Farm 1. The next resource we need to collect is Unity. And Unity is used to unlock traditions. If we go up here, we can click on the traditions menu. Traditions are bonuses that you unlock, and they're going to give you advantages in the game, and the more Unity you collect, the faster you're going to unlock those advantages. So the first tradition I'm going to unlock is expansion, and by adopting expansion, now my people are going to grow faster. Once I've selected expansion, it's going to unlock the expansion tree that I can continue selecting new perks from. If you unlock all the perks from one tree, you're then going to get an added bonus effect. Back on the surface menu, there are two ways to collect Unity. One is from the Planetary Administration building, and every planet we inhabit will have a planetary administration. The next way to increase Unity is by building monuments. I always try to place the monuments on tiles that don't have any resources on them. We don't have any right here that are empty, so I'm going to go ahead and place it on this tile right here. Click on the build button and select the monument. Once a new person is available, I'll place them on that monument tile, and then they will begin collecting Unity for me. Now you're also going to notice the arrows in the top right hand corner of the tiles. That means those buildings have an upgrade available. As you complete research, you're going to unlock upgraded building types. I've researched a couple here, so these buildings can be upgraded to collect even more resources. To upgrade a building, all you have to do is click on the arrow and the upgrade will begin. So why do you want to be collecting all these resources in the first place? The reason why is it takes energy credits to maintain buildings, ships, and robots. It takes minerals to build buildings, ships, and robots. People also use a portion of your minerals. This is called consumer goods. So each person you have in your population is going to use a portion of your minerals monthly. And you need food to keep your people alive and growing. The more food you have, the faster they're going to grow. You also need to collect physics, society, and engineering research to speed up research of new items, which will in turn allow you to produce even more energy, food, minerals. So it's a resource balancing game. You can't let one get too far behind the other, or you could end up in a resource crisis. Now, eventually, all the tiles on our planet are going to be filled up, and we're going to need to inhabit another planet. The amount of planets you can inhabit is listed right up here. So at this point in time, we can inhabit 3 planets. I'm going to click on the planets here that our science ships have already discovered and see if I can find a good second planet. If I click on this planet and I go to the summary table, I can see this is a continental world and the habitability is 90%. So my people are going to be happy here. But if I click on the surface, there are a lot of red tiles, which could block me out for some time until I'm given the option to research clearing those. Now, if I click on the planet over here, it's also a continental planet. My population's happiness is going to be 85% due to a negative effect on the planet. But overall, it has more open tiles right now. So I think this is a better choice, and I'm going to go ahead and colonize this planet. I click on the planet summary tab, and then I'm going to click on the colonize button. And it is going to take 100 influence to colonize this planet. I'm going to click on the colonize button. I'll click on Earth because that's where the colony will be traveling from, and I'll click on the ship shelter icon. Then over on the surface of the new planet, I'm going to click on a tile where I want the ship shelter to be built. I'm going to go ahead and select this empty tile right here. And ship shelters, once they are upgraded, those do become planetary administrations. Now over on Earth, if we check the spaceport, we're going to see the colony ship being built. And once it's complete, it's going to leave the spaceport and begin traveling to our new planet. While this process is going on, we're going to take a huge hit to our energy credits until this planet has been completely colonized. Once colonization has begun, the new planet's going to show up in the outliner. We can watch the progress from there, or we can actually click on the planet and we can see the progress from right here. Once colonization is complete, then we'll begin doing the same thing we did on our first planet of selecting tiles to build on and clearing tiles. Now, the very first thing I would do after colonizing any planet is to build a spaceport. Spaceports will provide adequate protection at the beginning of the game if you are attacked. So go to the Spaceport tab, select an available defense module, and then click on the Build Spaceport button. Now, in that process of colonization, what I was waiting for to talk about influence did happen, so we'll go ahead and talk about that now. Influence is used for several things in the game. It's used to build frontier outposts. It's used to colonize planets. It's also used for edicts, and edicts are like initiatives you can purchase, which will give you bonuses. You can see a list of edicts that can be purchased on the policy and edicts menu. You can also purchase edicts that are planet only from the planet summary menu. Influence is also used to recruit new leaders. Researchers and scientists are going to die. This actually happens quite frequently, and when they do, you're going to need influence to recruit those new scientists. So influence is pretty important, and there are 3 ways to gain more influence. One is through research. There will be items that you're going to unlock that you're going to be able to research that will increase the influence you gain. You can gain influence by declaring other empires your rival, and the third way to gain influence is through factions. As more people populate your planets, they will begin to splinter off into different factions. And as these factions pop up, they're going to be displayed in the outliner. These factions are going to have certain expectations of you, and if you're meeting their expectations, then you're going to receive an influence bonus. To get more info on a faction and see what they are expecting, you can click on that faction, and their issues will be listed on the left-hand side. Okay, now on to the part you've all been waiting for, ships. This was probably one of the most confusing things for me in the beginning, so I want to try to explain this as clearly as possible. And hopefully to this point, I've explained everything as straightforward as it could be. And if you've enjoyed this video and if you think it is helpful, if you want to see more Stellaris tutorials, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you want to take that one step further, go to my YouTube gaming page and hit that sponsor button. Sponsorship is a new way that fans can financially show their support of a YouTube channel. I would love to make more videos, give you guys more tutorials, guides, tips and tricks. I would love to stream more, but I just don't have the time, and your sponsorship could actually change that for me. Anyway, so back to Stellaris and back to ships. So through the course of the game, you're going to be fending off attacks, and you're going to be attacking other empires, so you're going to need to be building up your fleet. We're going to go ahead and click on Earth, and then we're going to go to the spaceport tab. And in order to build more and bigger ships, you need to upgrade your spaceport. The spaceport upgrades are researched. It's random when you're going to get those upgrades, so when they do appear, you want to make it a priority to research them. I've already researched Spaceport 2, so I'm going to go ahead and click on that to begin the upgrade. And you'll notice up here, I went from an available fleet size of 15 to 21, and that's because my spaceport was built over on that second planet. Once this upgrade completes, my capacity will upgrade again, and then I can go back to my other planet, upgrade that spaceport to level 2 to increase the capacity even more. So more planets and more spaceports equals the ability to have more ships in your fleet. Spaceports also have modules, and the higher level of the spaceport, the more open modules that will be available. I'll click on the open module, and then I'm going to click on orbital farms, and that module will be installed and begin producing food. And just like everything else in Stellaris, you're going to unlock additional modules through research. We have one ship available to us right now, and that is the Corvette, and you're going to notice it says auto. When the game started, it auto-generated the ship, and what was available for this ship at that time. Since then, I've unlocked additional items, but they're not being equipped on this design. I need to change that, so I'm going to go into the ship designer by either hitting F10 or going up here and hitting the ship designer button. I'm then going to click on the Corvette design here on the left. I've researched shields and armor, but they're not being built into this current design. So I'm going to click on the autocomplete button, and those new shields and armor will be added to the design. Now I'll click the auto update button. So from now on, any upgraded missiles, shields, or armor that I research is automatically going to replace these lower level items. Now I'll click on save and then yes. Now, once I research an item that will go into this empty A slot, it's not automatically going to be added. I'm actually going to need to go back into the ship designer here and hit the auto update button again and add it and save the design again. And you will need to do this for every ship.
System survey complete.
Okay, I'm going to go back to the spaceport and I'm going to build 2 new corvettes. Once those are complete, you can see I now have 2 fleets in the outliner, and what I want to do is combine them into one fleet. I will left click and drag this box till both fleets are highlighted. Now with this top button right here, I'm going to click merge and the 2 fleets will move and combine into one. If your ships are in a battle and they get damaged, you can click here and they will move to the nearest spaceport to repair. And lastly, the first set of fleets that I built were not built with that new design, so in order to upgrade them, I'm going to hit the upgrade button. As your scientists are moving around the galaxy, it's inevitable that they're going to be attacked. The galaxy is full of space pirates, space amoebas, and evil mining drones. And one of our scientists was attacked up here, so I'm going to send my fleet up there to check out the situation. I'll select the fleet from the outliner, and then I'm going to click on the tile where the science ship was attacked. As our fleet moves into the system, we are immediately attacked, and it looks like we may have bit off a little bit more than we can chew at this point. So instead of sacrificing the entire fleet, I'm going to go ahead and hit the retreat button, which is going to save some of those ships. At this point, I'm going to have to go back and build up the fleet just a little bit stronger before going back there to take on those pirates. So now what do you do from this point? From here, you're going to continue building more mining stations, building more research stations, continue building out your planets, keep researching new technologies and inhabiting new planets, and keep surveying those systems. It's only a matter of time before you're going to come into contact with aliens, and in the next video, I'm going to talk about how to peacefully deal with aliens and how to go to war. So if you found this video useful, please hit that thumbs up button, and please consider hitting that sponsorship button. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.